Time for us to have a look at football in the Wimmera, and Scotty Stewart is raring to go as Wimmera football is raring to go, and he joins me now from the Warrack Herald. G'day, Scotty, how are you?
How you going? Well, thanks, Wayne.
And it's been a long off-season. It's finally got around to Wimmera football starting, albeit we did have the early match at Easter, but clubs are raring to go. Warrack Eagles raring to go. A young gun team that you're putting in, some of the kids that have come up through your junior ranks, getting an opportunity at senior football level. This is going to be a good start to the season, and everyone's getting excited about it.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. The lineups that you're talking there, and I think a lot of teams are going to be the same. Very young sides nowadays, aren't they? So Warrack Eagles are certainly no exception to that rule, and they're going to blood about 4 or 5 debutants this weekend, and just young kids that are champing at the bit to get out there and have a kick of footy that obviously they're missing out last year, and they're so keen to get out there like everyone will be this weekend and have a kick, yeah.
It's interesting because the Wimmera Football released its revised salary cap at $6,000 a home and away match, or $96,000 for the season. It's an interesting one there, Scotty, because obviously the Eagles haven't gone out and purchased a lot of players this year. You've gone with your homegrown talent. So is there, even though there are these salary caps to try and equalise Wimmera Football, is it fair to say that some clubs just haven't got the money to do that after not having played in 2019 or 2020?
Yeah, you're exactly right there. I'm thinking without fully knowing what any other club's doing, and even with our own as with salary cap, and it is an interesting one, isn't it? We didn't have any football in 2020, but I suppose you had no expenses, so people were you weren't dishing out week by week, and with our club and there's other clubs around that obviously have money come through other ways, and ours is through the harvest and other ventures like that. So look, yeah, it's a really good question, and I can't speak for any other teams in this regard, but you'd think that most teams would be pretty right financially going into this season because of the non-expense from last year. But it is interesting there. I think that was a COVID rule, wasn't it? When with the reduction in the salary cap. So teams, yeah, look, if they got to spend up a few bucks each week to put some teams on the park, yeah, well, they're going to need to find that cash, and you'd think they'd be pretty right for this year, I'm thinking. But yeah, it's a really interesting point you make there with that recap.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Eagles haven't gone out and purchased more players to start the season. But we'll have a look at the games that we've got and follow through just some of the sides that have got new players. Horsham Saints take on Dimboola. Dimboola will be looking to improve. They finished 2019 well, and the Horsham Saints are the factory of junior development down there with the Berry Boys going on to AFL, but how have they fared in the season off, and what are we to expect from Dimboola?
Yeah, in my opinion, they're the big improver. They'll be, I can see them finish in top 3 myself. It's just a feeling of I've had even last year. If they were going into the season last year, they were going to be the big improver, and my reasoning behind all that, and probably pretty obvious because they've recruited very well, but they finished 2019 so well. And I remember Warrack Eagles going over to Dimmy at the end of 2019 and copped an absolute flogging from the Dimboola boys, who they were just up and about, and you could tell that they were so keen to keep improving. And as I said, if we had footy last year, they would have been up in the top 5 last year. But with 2021 coming around now, and some of the names, and look, I don't know a lot of these fellas. You read about the recruits that they have, and they're just going to add to an excited team from 2019. You know what I mean? So they're going to be up and about, and they really are going to push a lot of teams. And as I said, if I had a prediction, I'd be putting them in top 3, and I put that on the basis of their coach, Justin Bugler, who's been around for a couple of years, and he just seems to have brought the Dimmy club together. And even though last year through COVID he was still a lot of teams were doing it, I know, but he was always getting his players together, doing something, whether it was through social media or whatever. But they will be right up there, and with the up against the Saints boys, who are always a tough opponent for whoever they play and wherever they play. So they'll be good. They've lost a couple. They've lost their ruckman and a good midfielder, but new coach doing his first game this weekend, David Johns. He's going to be extra keen to get going, and they've recruited a couple of kids that have returned to their through the Rebels footy and stuff like that after a couple of years. So this will be a cracker of a game actually, and picking a win, I'm thinking Dimbula, because I'm going to rate them pretty highly all year.
All right. He's gone out early on the Demi Roos. We'll see how Scotty Stewart goes with that nil take on Horsham. Any such support for the nil Tigers against one of the greats of this competition?
It'll be an interesting game again. Yeah, Horsham, it's well known around here that they missed the finals in 2019 for the first time in decades, over a decade, and they'll be pretty keen to get back into pushing themselves up the ladder. But without knowing a lot about the nil side there, they're the same as Warrack Eagles. I think they're going to put a lot of emphasis on their kids and blood a lot of kids throughout the year, because that's the one thing they do have over there at nil. They always have some kids coming through the ranks and some good prospects coming out of nil. So it'll be a good game. I'm thinking Horsham, with their experience, would be a little bit too strong in this one, but that's the way it'll be.
All right. Wimmera have been talked up with Kieran Delahunty coming back, and they haven't lost too many of their stars from their premiership winning season in 2019. How do you rate Wimmera as they come up against your Warrack Eagles boys?
Yeah, tough one for our Warrack Eagles boys to get first up, but it'll be fun. Wimmera are going to have a very good side, and they'll be pretty exciting to watch all year, I reckon. They've got some good talls, good smalls, got plenty of depth through midfield, right across the ground. You mentioned Kieran, the two medalists coming back. Luke Fisher, we've spoken about Luke, about the former Saints coach coming over. Nick Petering, former junior, who hasn't been back for a fair few years now. He's back. He'll be playing with his brother Cade. Cade's the young fellow that won the Bins medal in the grand final there a couple of years ago. So it just adds to their team. And I think we spoke about Timmy McIntyre returning. We weren't sure if he was going to do that last year. They have lost a couple. I know that their best and fairest from 2019, Brad Inglis, he's not returning to the team. But I don't think it's really going to matter with the Wimmera lads. And the other thing with this one, they're going to. I haven't seen it, but I've heard really good reports. They've resurfaced the ground over at Minyip there, and going to be playing on a pretty good surface tomorrow. So I think there's going to be some fairly excited players getting around there tomorrow. I
reckon there will be. From the Warrack Eagles side, I know that you've brought up 5 young guys that have played junior football in the last couple of seasons. Lockie Goldner is one of those who would have come up last year. But the other 3 lads, Lockie Hanley, also we've got Daniel Penny and Dylan Watts have been named in your side, along with your own son Dane Stewart, who had played some senior football back in 2019. So a really young, youthful looking side with just the one recruit in O'Donnell coming to the club from over Donald Way.
Yeah, no, you're right with the youth side of it there. They team selections during the week, and Zach Holmes, who's going to get to finally coach his first game with the Eagles after obviously missing last year. But he's going to blood the kids. That's one thing that he's done. And you spoke there about young Lockie Golder. Yeah, he was a kid that would have graduated last year, but obviously couldn't, and so he'll make his first senior appearance this weekend. And those other kids, I think they're only 16 turned 17, probably still eligible for the under-17s this year, but they've shown during pre-season and the practice matches that they've played that they're keen and they're ready to go, and Zach's supporting these kids, and that's only a good thing. He spoke about young Dane and Charlie Penny and Matt Penny. These are the kids that have got a season and a half behind them now, and they'll be young leaders really within a young team, which is going to go out in the park. The kids, Ryan McKenzie, Danny Bell, Dalton Gents, these kids, these blokes, they're the ones that are going to provide the experience for them. But these young fellas all making their debut tomorrow. It's going to be pretty exciting, as I said, on that big mini ground, the newly resurfaced ground against the reigning premiers, who will unfurl their flag tomorrow. So this weekend, it should be a good game for these young kids to start their senior footy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, certainly will be. Good to talk on local football in the Wimmera. It's a huge round of matches for the start of the Wimmera Football League season. And Scotty Stewart, I know that you'll be so excited to see the lads running out there at Minyip, and then you'll be covering it for the Herald, and also looking forward to your commentary here next week on The Flow. You have a great weekend.
Yeah, no worries, Wayne.